the game. Yes, it is. It is time to play the game. It is time to play the game. Oh, yes, we are. We are live, the Sports Porch Black and Gold edition here on Facebook, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Welcome to the Gram. Welcome, Graham. What did you call your grandmother?
Graham.
Graham? Did you really?
No,
Graham. How about you? You called her Graham?
No, I called her grandmom.
Yeah, I call her grandmom too.
No, mine was mostly Grammy.
Not Meemaw?
No.
No,
No
never,
Meemaw there?
Never Meemaw.
I do
All
like
right.
Meemaw.
Yeah.
I feel like Meemaw should be said more often.
Meemaw sounded to me like Hogmaw, but we can describe that some other
When
time.
young Sheldon
All
would
right,
say
the
Meemaw.
Sports Porch Black and Gold edition here in Pittsburgh, all over the world on social media. And of course, you can find us, our podcast. We drop it right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. And hey, look, for those that like to just listen, if you want to listen live, I'm going to drop a comment right now. Radio PGH is officially our sister radio station. You can listen live to the Sports Porch on Radio PGH, and that's what it looks like right there, Radio PGH.
Mhm.
How about that?
Wow, it looks like a circle.
How about that? It does. It
Sure
does.
does. Sure as heck does.
So what are we going to do tonight? Well, we're going to talk about the Buccos. We're going to talk about the Steelers. Hockey Jesus is in the house as usual. We're going to have our Trader Joe's snack time. We're going to sample something I think the boys are going to like. And the Grand Schwabini is going to make a prediction. He is to my right.
Oh, yeah.
He needs to make up for that.
And for those of you watching, we are all in the same studio. We just have 3 different cameras. We're all in the same studio, so we can reach out and touch someone if we need to.
Not that we
keep
will.
your hands to yourself.
And then we are actually going to talk a little bit about what we're watching. Excitement abounds. And here's something. The Buccos report right now. Rowdy Tellez. Lines 1 to wherever the hell he lined it, to right field. Yeah, and he gets a double. And I got a problem here. It's telling me that my battery is low. I don't know why I'm on battery power, boys. So why don't you guys talk about the Pirates while I check my battery power?
Yeah,
I would
on my
rather
computer.
commit suicide.
Yeah, you
let's
have
do
to
that.
plug in
I
the
know.
computer.
I know.
To not
Computer
be on battery.
demands power,
Right.
I think one of you guys.
Right.
much like the Pirates, who are powerless.
I think one of you guys.
But tonight, they found a smidge of power, at least to the gaps.
Well, it seems like they always find power when Skenes is pitching. Why is that, Mark?
Well, maybe when you just feel like you're going to win when you walk into the park, it kind of puts everybody at ease.
Yeah, I think there's something to him in the locker room too. I've heard that he kind of is like not a jokester, but a guy who commands respect in the locker room, and that's got to be something big for the Pirates because otherwise they don't really have very many people like that.
Yeah.
Well, he's a star. And
Yeah.
they have not had a star on the team in a very long time.
Well, and I got the power situation sorted out. I don't know why that happened, but we're watching the Pirates right now behind Steve. And
I'm watching it backwards, which is
Yeah.
much more fun.
You
'cause
like that?
It looks like they're running to third base.
Well,
which
Skenes
is really quite interesting.
Skenes did give up a run in the first inning, which is uncharacteristic, but it's going to happen in his career, of course. But the Pirates come back, and they so far they've scored 3 in the bottom of the first, and Reynolds had a ground rule double. Cruz got on base with a hit into left field. Tellez, he's heated up a little bit. I mean, who the hell knows how long that's going to last? Now we got Connor Joe up here. But here's my question.
There's your cleanup hitter.
Paul Skeens is pitching tonight. Right, Connor Joe. Paul Skeens is pitching tonight, and also Game 5 of the NBA Finals is on. Which one do you watch? I mean, obviously, we're watching this. Gun to your head. You got to watch one. You got one TV, no phones or internet devices. Are you watching the NBA Finals? Mavericks trying to make it 3-2 Boston? Or are you watching Paul Skeens pitch tonight? Which one?
I'm going to let Mark go first.
Yeah.
Well, there is one TV. I just split it. I watched the first 6 innings of Paul Skeens, and then I go over for the second half of the NBA Finals.
Yeah, that's bad. That's like, okay.
I'm not even going to fake it because I'm not watching either.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I will put on the NBA as I'm getting ready to go to bed, just
Right.
to see where it is, because
Right.
that might be like the third quarter. So if it's close, then maybe I'll continue to watch it.
Right.
But honestly, I'd rather watch the Calder Cup finals between the Hershey Bears and the Coachella, whoever they are.
Well, you're a weirdo. You're hockey Jesus. Okay, so the time for the Buccos is now. Paul Skeens is pitching tonight. Buyers or sellers at the deadline. Who would you like to see in a Buccos uniform? Comment below and let us know. I mean, there's a lot of players out there. There's a guy on Chicago on the White Sox who's a pretty good, I think, right fielder.
I think
there's a guy on the A's they could bring in here, not the pitcher from Pittsburgh.
I think the fact that you're asking this question means that you're clinging to any kind of hope for this team. They're not going to be buyers. What are you kidding me? They're not going to be buyers. What are you thinking? I mean, they're going to be, somewhere between, best case, like right now, between 3 games and 10 games under 500 at the trade deadline.
Yep. I agree with
So they're not going to buy anything.
No, you don't think so?
They're sellers. If anything, it's Brian Reynolds is going to go somewhere.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I don't know. I think they kind of just keep the team intact because it's not doing bad.
Right.
And I don't think they want to upset the apple cart because let's face it, they're going to get a lot more attendees at the stadium this year because of Skenes. So why sell off the team and piss off your base when you don't really even need to?
Well, okay, that leads me to another question. That's a good subject.
Right?
What makes the Pirates fans more angry, as if we're not angry enough? Not being buyers and not doing anything, or being sellers? What makes them more angry? They do nothing at the deadline, or they trade somebody on the major league roster.
I would say if they traded somebody like Brian Reynolds, that would probably piss off some of the. I
think it would piss off a lot of people. Yeah.
I think that would be a bad move.
Yeah.
Not to say they won't do it, and I'm not going to lie, but I think there are very few people like that. I think even Connor Joe, people thinks he's a joke. So if they traded him, I don't think they would be that upset. Like if they got rid of O'Neal Cruz.
Well,
people would be upset.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
we know that's definitely not going to happen.
But
Bednar. How about Bednar?
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't had a great year.
Yeah, I think they would. But they wouldn't get upset if they traded Chapman.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
it depends on the person.
We kind of knew going into this season that Chapman was a signing for trade bait.
Right.
So I just have this sneaking suspicion that the plan, it's already baked into the cake that he's not going to end the season on the Pirates.
So, I mean, that's to me not anything that's going to upset the fan base. So why not do that? Because that's what they do. They dump salary. But they won't pick up anybody else. And I just don't have a good enough feel whether or not that's going to piss off people if they sell somebody but don't pick somebody up.
Well, and I think Mark talked about this earlier, clinging to hope. That's all we've had for 20 years is clinging to hope. I mean, we're clinging to the hope that Skenes, Jones, and Keller continue to perform at this level. I mean, look, Skenes just struck somebody out right now with a pretty nasty pitch. He does have 25 pitches now through 1 out in the second inning. So, and it also is like 95 degrees out there, but that was a pretty nasty pitch.
You need some Proactive. For sure.
Yeah. And he can't get off of that. You think he could afford some Proactive, but I think that, the biggest tragedy here is going to be having this pitching staff and not doing something, and they don't have to do much. Look where they are, 3 games under 500 with a couple players have kind of come into their own a little bit. They've started to heat up a little bit. You've got Tellez is batting like somewhere around 500 in June, and we're 17 days through June. So, okay, you don't need him to bat 300 and hit 40 home runs, but if he could bat 250 or 260, you're changing the landscape. O'Neal Cruz has been hitting the ball much better lately. Brian Reynolds has been hitting the ball much better lately. So you've got a pitching staff that, Skenes is not having his best outing so far tonight, But the time is now. It's right now. And if you're not going to take advantage of this, if you think that Paul Skeens, even if he's continues to be the phenom that he looks like he is going to fill the stadium next year with another horrible lineup, you're sorely mistaken. You're sorely mistaken, because the fans were happy about it now. They put 20,000 asses in the seats for these games. But next year, if the lineup is still dismal and you've done nothing to improve the rest of the team, it's going to fall back to, 9,000, 10,000 at most for a Paul Skeens outing.
Maybe not.
It's the law of diminishing returns.
Maybe not. Just depends on how good he is, and it looks like he's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I would say it's not now, though. I would say the time to win is next year.
Probably.
Because, look, you got, the three pitchers, the two of them are on year one and Keller's really on year two, so to speak. Right.
Yeah. Yep.
So you got them for a while.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I say it's not now, it's next year, is because if you could take, a Brian Reynolds, or a Bednar, let's say, and actually get some high level prospects that, could even join the club the second half of this year, or at least be a real strong candidate to be a starter next year, and, obviously they'd be prospects, so they'd be young. So it would be, adding that to, O'Neal Cruz, and some of the younger guys, that could be a big, big difference.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm talking about is there are a couple players out there who were injured to start this year. One of them plays for the White Sox, can't remember his name, but he hit like 38 home runs. He's under control for another 2 or 3 years. They could probably get him by trading a few of their prospects. He's the kind of bat in the lineup. I think his OPS this year now is over 700. You add that guy this year, it doesn't mean they're going to win, but that's the kind of guy. Now you've got him under control for the next few years. He's a bona fide major league hitter. So I think the time to do it is now. And the reason for that is you can get a couple of these guys at a little bit of a discount, and they're under club control for 3 years, which is the window that you have with Skeens, Jones, and Keller. Instead of waiting to the offseason and then saying, this trading for prospects has been the Pirates' MO for 20 years.
Right.
Well, they haven't done well with it.
That's right.
But you can do very well with
it. But who said they haven't done well with it with Charrington? I mean, that he's not the guy for it.
Henry Davis was supposed to be the guy.
Yeah, and he's not.
And
Sawinski was supposed to be
number one overall pick.
Right, and Sawinski was supposed to be a guy, and he's not. And
that's the problem with the Pirates is they're not going to go out and give somebody a $300 million contract.
No,
and that's really what they need to do.
Yeah,
they need to get that guy. Yeah. And they need some of these prospects to hit.
Or not even that. I mean, you could get 3 guys and pay them each $100 million.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Name a team that made it to the ALCS or the NLCS that didn't have a payroll over $100 million.
Probably nobody.
Maybe the Orioles. The Orioles didn't make the ALCS.
Maybe Tampa Bay, maybe 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year. Maybe the Royals.
Right.
They won
the Royals.
Year.
Right.
But even then, they when they went out and got a player when they knew they were good, they were probably $175 million payroll.
Yeah, probably.
The Pirates would have to add $100 million to their payroll to get to that level.
Right.
And they're just not going to do it. So I don't even know why we have these conversations. Because it just drives me friggin' crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be a very, very frustrating year for the Pirates, and it's wonderful to see somebody like Skenes up in the major leagues pitching the way he pitches. But we know they're going to squander this opportunity. That's the thing. I mean, all the talk all over sports radio, all over the media is, what they should do, what they could do, what would happen if. I mean, we're talking about it right now. But I think the bottom line is if we reach deep down into our soul, we know goddamn well they're not going to do anything.
No,
they're just not going to do anything.
Let me ask
Highly
you a
doubtful.
question. How about this for a question? Do you think that Skenes really belongs in the Major League All-Star game?
No.
I don't know. Maybe by that time he might.
No. I think Mitch Keller is our all-star. And
do you think if they're both on the ballot, and I don't know that Skenes is, by the way, if they're both on the ballot,
Probably not.
who
not.
would get more votes?
Skenes,
sure.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, isn't the All-Star game at this point a popularity contest?
It is.
Yeah,
it is, because it's voted on by the fans. Yeah.
So
but,
then he does belong in the All-Star.
Mitch Keller is 8-4 with a 3.36 ERA. He's got 78 Ks in 85 innings pitched. Paul Skeens is 3-0 with a 2.43 ERA, and he has 46 Ks in 26 innings pitched. But for my money, my all-star is Mitch Keller, because he signed that big contract, and up until his last start, he was pitching just as well, if not better than Jones and Skeens. Those guys are just the guys that, like, Jones surprised everybody. Bailey Falter surprised everybody. And Paul Skeens has been brought up, and he pretty much is, as advertised.
But
so
if
Mitch Keller is our all-star. Now, official Chris Chata says, why DFA Fleming to bring him back? He did pitch well, though, the other night, but still, the guy isn't very good. So you release him and then bring him back, because that's what the Pirates do.
Yeah.
They bring guys up and down and up and down. And it's what it is? It's, well, let's hope he does better this time. That's literally what it is.
They're just filling roster spots. And you know what? He's middle relief anyways. Right. So who cares? Who cares about that guy? I think that Skeens belongs in the Major League All-Star game because of this reason. I think he would actually talk to real players and may be able to talk some of them into wanting to come to the Pirates.
That's an interesting take.
That's why I would do it.
Yeah.
That's why I would do it. And on top of that, let's face it, Livy Dunn would get some face time, and Major League Baseball would love that.
Yeah.
So, and this is what it's about now. It's not about the game, because nobody goes to watch the game. They go to see what stars are there.
Yeah.
And most of the stars don't even want to be there anymore. They're just like, I'd rather have a 3-day break. I don't want to go to the All-Star game.
The pitchers, though, they get picked by the managers, except
that's
for
true. So Skeens and Keller aren't on the ballot.
Right.
So if I'm
he'll probably make it then.
I don't know. If
Probably
I'm Shelty, I'm
Probably
sending
not.
Mitch Keller, because I'm rewarding my workhorse.
This
I'm
is
rewarding
why
the guy.
why he's got to go.
It's not Shelty's choice.
No, it would be whoever the Major League.
It would be whoever
National.
lost to. I think it's
the
whoever,
manager from
whoever loses the ALCS and whoever loses the World Series.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the Diamondbacks manager.
Yep.
And the
Who played
whoever
Texas.
they beat the Houston.
Houston, right.
Dusty Baker, if he's still there, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta DM Dusty Baker. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, DM Dusty Baker and tell him to send Mitch Keller, please.
Okay, we want Keller. Not
okay. Catch the Sports Porch podcast. We drop it right after every show, anywhere you get your podcasts, in the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcast. Catch with another base hit. And obviously you can follow the Sports Porch on YouTube at the Sports Porch podcast. Subscribe, leave a review, hit the notifications button. Now, do we have a Grand Schwabini prediction?
We sure do.
The Grand Schwabini predicts.
Today we are going to look upon someone who used to be a Chris Klein favorite.
I know who
Jack
that is.
Sowinski. Remember all the Klein talk? Just play Jack Sowinski.
I know. Hey, look, I own it.
Center fielder.
I own it 100%.
He should play cleanup.
Bat.
He's got power.
Okay.
Jack Sowinski.
Will he?
Isn't quite up to snuff.
Yeah.
Now, the question that the Grand Schwabini will address is, he is currently hitting
180.
180. Will he get over the Mendoza line? Will he end the season 200 plus for his average, or 199 below? And the Grand Schwabini says Jack Sowinski's season ending batting average will be 197.
Oh, there it is.
He's
Grand
not going to make
Schwabini.
it. He's not going to make it.
Jack Sawinski will not end the season over 200.
No, he won't.
Well, I
Write it down, folks.
actually happen to be on the same page with you. I hate to say that.
Well,
I
he may not
absolutely
even
hate
end
to
up on
say
the
that.
Pirates. He may end up in AAA.
But what you should say, though, is
He might not have another
This
option
is-
because they
this
sent
is-
him down early.
this is what you should say, though,
What
So-
should I say?
is that the Pirates ruined him.
I gotta tell you, I can't. It looks like the Pirates are going to score another run here for Skenes.
It's so funny
yeah.
watching Kutch run around
Yep.
first base to home.
Yep, Reynolds did he get a base hit? Looks like. I got to say this. I thought Sawinski was great because I saw him hit a bunch of home runs and I saw him play a pretty good center field, and I thought this guy looks like a player. And then as these last couple years have gone on, what I've realized is that he has a lot of trouble locating the ball when he's up to bat, and that has been there since the beginning. So I'm not so sure that the Pirates ruined him. I think it's more like
Should he have gotten a referral for LASIK surgery?
probably or worn Charlie Sheen's glasses in Major League, just put some glasses on. But I think it's more like he had these issues when he came into the league, and O'Neal Cruz just struck out again. He had these issues when he came into the league, and the Pirates just couldn't fix him. That's really what I think it is.
It's kind of a 50-50.
Yeah, it's kind of a 50-50.
Not great,
I
not great hitting coach, but also
I agree.
you still got to kind of do it yourself.
I agree. So should we stump the Yinzer now, or should we go on to Hockey Jesus in the playoffs?
Well, if the stump the Yinzer has to do with baseball, then I say we try to stump
it's
the
kind
Yinzer.
of split. So
just do
yeah.
it now. Let's
Yeah.
get it over.
Okay,
with.
so stump the Yinzer. We have our official Yinzer, Hockey Jesus, sitting across from me, born and bred in the Pittsburgh area. Family full of Yinzers. They're all living in the woods, building chicken coops, planting corn for whiskey.
It's true. It's
and
damn true.
It is true. It's 100% true. So the question for Stump the Yinzer, what happens is we try to stump the Yinzer. If he gets the question wrong, our resident non-Yinzer, the Grand Schwabini, gets an opportunity to answer it.
I get a
to
shot.
be crowned Yinzer
Mhm.
for the week, honorary Yinzer for the week. So the question this week is,
I've been killing it lately.
Yeah, you've been doing
which two Pittsburgh sports legends
Oh no.
were Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year
Oh, that's so easy.
in 1979?
Come on, this is so easy. It's Pops Willie Stargell
Woo!
and your
Right.
quarterback from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Terry Bradshaw.
That is
We
exactly
are
right.
Family.
Oh, yeah.
I got all my sisters with me.
Why are they all with you?
We are family. Oh, yeah.
Get up, everybody.
Everybody sing. Hey, hey, hey.
All right. Willie Stargell and Terry Bradshaw.
That was their song.
That was their
man.
song. You're absolutely right.
That's a famous Sports Illustrated cover, by
I
the
know,
way.
I know.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Lots of
softball
people-
you.
Lots of people have it hanging in their man cave.
I had a feeling that
sure.
you would know that.
I think the doctor has one, actually.
Does he? Which two Pittsburgh sports legends were Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year in 1979? That was Pops Willie Stargell and Terry Bradshaw. So we did not stump the Yinzer.
Sorry, Mark. Maybe next week.
Okay.
Maybe next week. I'm waiting.
All right, couple more segments to go here. If you're watching live all over the world on social media, Facebook, YouTube, X, and Instagram, thank you very much. If you leave a comment on Instagram, it takes me a little bit to get to you because it's on a different screen. So thanks for being here. And we drop the podcast right after the show everywhere you get your podcasts. Subscribe, leave us a review, and you can always follow us on YouTube at the Sports Porch Podcast. And now, we are going to move into
Holy ground.
into a reverent mood because we have
Reverend mood.
Mm,
Yes, we have a very, very spiritual figure in the house known as Hockey Jesus,
Hockey Jesus.
who preaches on the podcast after every single Penguins game during the regular season in the NHL.
Mhm.
And currently, he is preaching on the podcast after every single Stanley Cup final game. Florida
he
is
is.
currently up 3-1 after that 8-1 drubbing by Edmonton. We got a game tomorrow night. So, Hockey Jesus preaching on the podcast. And right now, he's going to
Great.
give us a quick synopsis because you'll be back on tomorrow night.
I will not be back on tomorrow night.
Well, why not?
Well, because they're playing tomorrow night.
Oh, well, okay, Wednesday morning. So you'll be back on Wednesday
I'll be
morning
back on Wednesday
after Game 5. So here's Hockey Jesus.
Unless the cup is actually given away.
Yeah.
Might be worth going live after.
Well, that's up to
if
you.
that happens.
You are Jesus, so you get to choose. So Hockey
No.
Jesus, give us a little what do you think? Let's do a question and answer session.
Q&A, let's do it.
What do you think about this 8-1 win by Edmonton?
I think that if you've been listening to me, you would know that I would be saying that the games are actually a lot closer than they
did say that.
than it looked. There were just a few moments in all the games, every single game that's been played, and in the first 3, they all went Florida's way because Bob was there to make the stop.
Yeah,
and in this game, well, I mean, Bob wasn't making the stops, but Edmonton was spot on. They brought their A+ game.
Yeah, they sure
in
did.
Winning 8-1, and some of those scores, there's nothing that could have been done. Now, Paul Maurice really said some interesting things in the post game, and I agree with Paul Maurice says they got to stop that long stretch pass. That opens the whole ice for Edmonton. If they can stop that long stretch pass, I don't know how Edmonton can get through the middle zone that Florida clogs up so well with speed. They can get through the zone, but they just can't get through with speed. And sometimes only Connor McDavid does, and he has proven he can't do it by himself. He needs a lot of help. So I think if Florida can get back to that, then the 8-1 game means nothing. Look, it was everything for the fans. If you were at the game from Edmonton and you were either in the moss pit or you were at the actual game, you were having an absolute blast. And that's really what it is about Edmonton at this point. They just want to try and keep those good vibes going. The other thing, too, is I think, Florida has been so reserved throughout this whole thing. Like, we're just taking it one game at a time. They're not celebrating after goals.
We talked about that last week. Yeah.
And I think that I know now that's a facade, because the Stanley Cup was there to be delivered and they got nervous. I truly believe that they just thought about their names being on the Stanley Cup forever. They're going to get to raise that thing, and they weren't thinking about the game. I think they lost their focus completely. And honestly, I think in the first period, if they would have gotten some of those goals, things would have been different. But once Edmonton started pushing back, they just couldn't get it back, honestly, when it comes down to it. I hope for Florida's sake that Barkov isn't hurt. He got slammed pretty hard in the previous game, and he didn't play the last few minutes. He didn't need to because they didn't need him, but he didn't look 100%. And I know everybody says this time of year, all the players are injured and all that bullshit. But I just hope for Florida's sake he's not hurt, because that could really hurt Florida's chances to getting back to that team game that they play, where all 5 people on the ice, including the 2 defensemen, kind of just play a structured game that doesn't allow Edmonton to get to their speed.
Well, we shall see on tomorrow night if last night's game was a fluke, or if Edmonton and Connor McDavid.
You'll see the game tighten up a lot more.
Yeah. There's
no way Florida's going to let them come storming back like that again. And I think Skinner had his best game. You'll see Skinner revert back to, not being the guy.
So you think Florida's probably going to win the game tomorrow night?
I think it's going to be one of those 4-3 games. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see an overtime game. And an overtime game is, flip a coin, really. Because the pressure's on both teams at that point.
Okay. Well, you can hear the Hockey Jesus after the game on the Sports Porch podcast, on the iHeartRadio app, or anywhere you get your podcasts. And of course, you can watch his updates on YouTube at the Sports Porch podcast. You can just type Hockey Jesus into the search bar.
Hockey Jesus
right up there.
Always comes right.
Absolutely.
Peace be with you.
Here's something we skipped over. Hard Knocks is coming to the AFC North in Pittsburgh in season. Do you think this is a good thing or a bad thing for the Steelers? Because if you go back to a couple years ago, they asked Mike Tomlin about Hard Knocks. Would he like Hard Knocks to be, part of Steelers to be part of Hard Knocks? And he pretty much said no way.
Hell no.
So yeah. So well, I mean, I think it'll be fun for us in a way.
It'll be fun for us. It'll be fun for us. Well, the thing is, the in season is very different than the training camp.
Right.
The training camp exposes a lot more Whereas the in season, it's almost like we're already watching it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's delayed too. They delay it.
Yeah, it's delayed,
Right.
and it's like we're already watching it. It's like we're watching. It's basically, the lead into the game. You can imagine what they're focusing on. Like, hey, everybody, stay focused, be in the details. And then they'll play the game, and then if they win, it's just like, all right, guys, you just gotta keep focused, right? We got to play our game. Anybody's trying to knock us off every week. Come on, guys. We got to keep it going.
Yeah. Right.
And then it's
Right.
it's the same, like, media stuff you'll see all week. They'll comment after the game. And I don't really think the in season personally is very good.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the training camp is great.
Yeah.
But
how do you think it's going to work when they have 4 teams?
Well, and so here's the thing. I thought about that. Now, they did do one season where they did the LA Rams and the San Diego Chargers as a twosome for the training camp.
Right.
And, I didn't like that year because I felt like you didn't get enough time with each team.
Right.
And that was 2 teams.
Yeah. Well,
instead of 4.
Right.
The thing about doing it with the AFC North is you've got 4 teams, and arguably this year, no matter how you slice it up, any one of these teams could win this division. Arguably.
Well, one of them is.
Well, we know that. Yeah,
that's right.
Either one of them is going to win it, and 3 of them aren't. No, but what I'm saying is, it would not. I don't think it would surprise a lot of people if Baltimore wins the division. I don't think it would surprise a lot of people if Cincinnati wins the division.
I think that would surprise people.
I mean, with Joe Burrow, you got to understand. You've got LeVar and
I think
Lamar,
everybody
and you've
would
got.
be shocked if Cleveland won it.
Now,
I think we can easily say that.
Yeah, for
I don't know that everybody would be shocked. I mean, they won, defense. Garrett got defensive player of the year.
Well,
blah, blah, blah. We can have that argument some other time, but we already had that argument.
They had a good defense. So
all I'm saying is that if you're talking about in season, you're talking about a division that is potentially a tighter division, that any one of those teams does have the ability to win it. There's not a true winner of this division. There's not one team where you're like, they're definitely
there's
going to
not a team that's going to run away with
that I mean, look, that adds to I guess what you're saying, an interest level.
That's what I'm saying.
But at the same time, I think what you're not catching here is, look, it's like an hour show.
I know.
And so, if you've got 4 teams to cover, and I'm sure what's going to happen is, depending on how the season plays out, let's say it's, the Ravens and the Steelers are battling, right? They're going to get a little more time.
Right. Exactly. 20 minutes.
They might get
15.
They might get 20 instead of 10 or 15.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's not going to be a lot of time.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know. To me, the cool part of Hard Knocks is the stories about these guys who are trying to make it as, undrafted free agents.
Yeah.
It's also like really evaluating the coaching staff. Like, here's the thing, like, we all think, Mike Tomlin is a good coach. Obviously the record suggests he is, right? And he certainly seems to have the respect of players. That's pretty clear, right?
Yeah.
But we've also never really seen him in action, and that would be interesting to see.
I agree with that.
And it would also be interesting to see as well. Like, you would be able to see something with the training camp version. You would be able to see, like, is the defense 100% his, or how involved is the defensive coordinator?
Right.
So those things are interesting to me.
Yeah,
I think during the season, I mean, like, I can already tell you right now, I mean, it's going to be a lot about Russell Wilson. Of course.
Of course.
It's,
but that's an interesting story for us.
Oh, it definitely
really
is.
Yeah, I think
look at Tellez launching a ball into.
He should have caught.
He should have caught that.
It was terrible.
Are they going to give him a hit or an error?
Yeah, they're going to give him a double.
They'll give him a double
because he dove for it.
Well, and he didn't actually touch the ball.
Adding to the legend of Rowdy Tellez.
Hey, let me ask you a question. This is around some conspiracy theory.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. Let's do it.
I know you love this.
Yes.
Do you think that the schedule had something to do with they knew they were going to be on Hard Knocks and they pushed a lot of the AFC North games to the end?
100%.
Yeah.
Well, What's it covering though? Is it covering the end of the season?
Well, they said it was going to start in December. December 3rd.
So that means they're probably starting to film like beginning of November, late October.
You got it.
Yeah, probably.
So there's very few games in September and October within the division.
They're backloaded.
Oh.
They're backloaded.
They're all in the last 8 games.
Well, yeah, then definitely.
That's a good question. I haven't heard anybody ask that question anywhere. I might have missed it, but I haven't heard anybody.
That's the first thing I thought of.
There is Rowdy Telez
caught in
a rundown.
That's not good for him.
Needs to lose a little weight.
He's just, that's his weight loss gimmick.
Yeah, you got it.
It didn't work out.
Sorry, Rowdy. Look at that.
Go have a Snickers.
My God.
Go get a Snickers, Rowdy.
Yep. So yeah, I 100%. Yep.
That's the first thing I thought of when I saw Hard Knocks. I'm like, oh, now the schedule makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. See, this is all bullshit about how Amazon Web AI kicks out a schedule and then they just kind of rubber stamp it. That's complete crap. Okay.
No, they know all that stuff going in.
Yeah.
And
so maybe
AI probably factored it in.
That's what I'm saying. They condition or program the AI to do this is what they do. Okay. So Hard Knocks is coming. That's fine. It'll be interesting to watch. This year. So
don't forget about training camp. It's coming.
Training camp is coming too, and we'll have a lot more to say about that. But right now, it's time for segment.
Oh, food.
I love this.
Taste the biscuit.
Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
Taste the
honey sauce.
Taste the
goodness of the biscuit with your honey sauce.
Don't get that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
All right,
Mike, we'll get to your question.
Yeah, we'll get to your question
Actually,
in a minute,
we
Mike.
Could probably talk about it while we're having.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Okay, this is our Trader Joe's snack time. Everybody knows who watches the show and listens all the time that I work at Trader Joe's down in East Liberty. They are not a sponsor of the show, but they did give me permission to do this, so I thank them for that. If they ever want to be a sponsor, they're welcome to, and maybe we'll do even more. This week, our Trader Joe's snack time, Trader Joe's product is something that truly is a snack. It's Trader Joe's s'mores clusters.
Oh, okay.
Now, is this something that is good for you or not good for you?
I would say it is good for you because it makes your tongue feel good.
I would say no in the nutrition category.
Trader Joe's s'mores clusters, mini marshmallows and graham crackers covered with milk chocolate. Absolutely. And the only reason this package is open is because my stepson came over and power washed our back porch. I was not here, and when I came home, I noticed that he must have helped himself.
Oh yeah,
to the Trader Joe's s'mores.
Good.
So if you like s'mores, let me tell you,
I would have.
I feel against the rules.
Here you go.
Ask.
Here you go. I think he should have asked too, but it doesn't matter.
No, Mark wouldn't have asked.
There you go. Look, it's already in his mouth.
Look, there are quite a few left in here.
Yeah, there are. Yes, there are. There won't be by the time we're done with this segment.
All right.
So let's talk. Yeah, it's
let's see. Let's show
smooth milk chocolate, fluffy marshmallow, and crispy graham cracker.
It doesn't look like a s'more at all.
No,
it looks like
it's a cluster.
It looks like a cluster. Yeah, it looks like a big pile of poo. Actually, if you think about it.
What do you think?
What do you think?
It's solid.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not jumping up and down.
Do you want another one?
I'll take one more.
Yeah, of course we will.
I mean,
I don't know.
I mean,
this does not taste like a s'more.
They tried to do something special, and I think in that respect they failed.
No,
but still, chocolate I like.
It is chocolate. It's mostly chocolate. I don't taste any marshmallow. The graham cracker's good inside of it, but it's definitely not a s'more. I would say false advertising.
Okay. All right. Well, you want another one?
I don't. No.
Okay. You want another one? One more?
Good enough.
Okay. I'd rather talk about how a McIlroy blew it on 18 and 17. And
okay. Here's Mike's comment.
Did you guys watch the U.S. Open golf yesterday? McIlroy uncharacteristically semi-folded down the stretch and missed a 3.5-footer on 18 to force a playoff. What?
Well, I was watching the whole thing live.
Here's Jack
And
Sawinski up for the Pirates.
McIlroy had a 2-stroke lead with 5 to play. And in the world of big league golf, that's pretty good.
That's pretty solid.
That's pretty
You're feeling
solid.
good about yourself.
And beyond that, what was interesting was DeChambeau had a great shot, I think maybe on like 15 or something, and he got a birdie. So he pulled to within 1. But then on the next hole, DeChambeau missed like a 3-footer.
Yep.
And,
back to 2.
Back to 2 real quick there. And then the Rory collapse just occurred.
Well, you had a really interesting statistic on 4-foot putters
Right.
by McIlroy.
Right. McIlroy, the statistic was something like Rory McIlroy had made 496 out of his last 496 putts from 4 feet or less.
Oh, man.
And
Can you imagine?
number 497 and number 499 were misses
Oh, man.
at the end to win a championship.
Yeah, that's what do you do?
It was awful.
You don't talk to the media afterwards, that's for sure.
Well, he didn't. Actually, he's getting a lot of crap about that.
Yeah,
he
I
is.
heard that.
Because golf, it's a gentleman's game, right?
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be a good sport.
Yep.
But look, I mean, I can sort of sympathize with McIlroy here because, McIlroy has come close a number of times since winning his 5 majors, but he hasn't won one since I think 2013. So, it's a long time.
11 years.
I think he's been a runner-up like 2 times, and he's been a top 10 like 5 times, something like that. I mean, this was his. It was one, and he totally choked it. I mean, I never thought in my life that I would say like Rory McIlroy's a choker.
Yeah.
Like he totally choked this away.
Well, the question is, does he become a choker going forward?
I don't know.
It's a mental game. It's a very mental game.
I mean, he's so talented. I mean, he's one of these guys that, even though he's not winning majors, he's most of the time he's in it, and he's like, somewhere between the number 1 and the number 3 golfer in the world, like
Right.
consistently during all this time. So, he's going to continue to have chances, but boy, he needed this one to sort of get into the next grouping.
Yeah.
Like if he wins this, it's number 6. And then with that kind of a momentum, maybe you get to 8 or 9.
Right.
Right now, it might just be 5.
You know who's not who's not a choker?
Oh.
Neil Shipley. Do you know who that guy is?
Yeah, but he's not that good. I mean, he's just the best amateur.
He's not that good. Do you know who else won the U.S. Open and the Masters as an amateur?
Well, what, Tiger Woods? I don't know.
Yeah, Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods.
All right, but he is.
I mean, that's pretty elite company.
Obviously he's a good golfer, right? But I can't.
He could be elite.
Well, this is what I can't stand.
What don't you like about him? Is it his long hair?
No.
Is it his big build?
He is a little big build.
Both are problems.
Is that a problem for you, Mark?
No.
It shouldn't be, because that's what we are.
No. What kind of irritates me about golf?
Okay.
What irritates me about golf? They do it at the Masters. They do it at the U.S. Open. Is when they're giving the champion trophy. Okay, they got it. They got to give the little 2 minutes to the low amateur. Like, who cares? The winner shot -6. Like, you were like +5. You sucked.
No, actually,
you know what I mean?
He was +1.
Was he +1?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
so
+1.
that wasn't too bad. But come on, man. Look, get to the winner's circle. I don't care if you're an amateur or not. Win as an amateur. Then I'll say you're great.
You have hate for him. Maybe this will help you like him a little bit more. Do you know who his sponsor is?
I do not.
Arby's.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's pretty good,
That's
right?
good.
You know,
Mike-
you gotta
Mike-
give it to him, right?
Mike chimes in. Shipley was the low amateur at both the Masters and this U.S. Open.
Yeah.
So
By the way, I don't know about Tiger, but I know Nicholas was definitely one of the other guys. So
okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, that
yeah, he's actually turning pro after this tournament.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
so we'll see if
we'll see if he actually can compete with the big boys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and often,
if he cuts his hair, would you like him
Well,
better?
How about if he loses 20 pounds?
often what'll happen is it
Puts on
usually
muscle. How about
it often
that?
takes you like 3 or 4 years. You know, to
Would he
break
be more
through.
attractive to you if he cut his hair and lost a little weight?
I don't find him attractive
Good.
because of the size and the hair and just overall facial features being less than par.
Yeah.
But
He doesn't have symmetry in his face.
No symmetry.
No.
but that has nothing to do with it. I mean, I just don't it's not that I don't like him. I don't like this whole lauding of the amateurs.
Yeah.
Like,
We're very much aware.
yeah, it's annoying to me.
It would be like having the MVP Major League Baseball, the celebration and the handing of the trophy, and then bringing up the MVP of the AAA.
Yeah, or just be like
Or have the
imagine
Calder Cup trophy winners there
Yeah.
praising the Stanley before the
Right.
Stanley
Yeah.
Cup is raised.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
That's just stupid.
It is stupid.
I have to
Yeah.
agree with you in
Yeah.
the stupidness and the badness of that situation.
Right.
Okay, thanks for watching the Sports Porch live. If you are on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X, as well as Instagram. And we're going to drop the podcast right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. Paul Skeens now has 5 strikeouts. He's only given up a run and 3 hits.
He's calmed down,
leading
since
4-1.
that first
Yeah, so
That's what those great pitchers are like. You know, it's like you got to get to them early, and if you can, you get to them early, and then they settle in.
And then I need to change that because he now has 6 strikeouts. So official Chris Chato on Instagram says, love the show, guys. Thanks, bud. Really appreciate it. Share it with your friends, man. Subscribe to the podcast, please. Leave us a review.
Leave us a review.
if you feel like
I think we got Pat off track here.
Oh my God, where is Pat been?
I don't know what this is about. Can anybody decipher this?
I always thought Klein was the MP of AAA. I'm not sure if he skipped the V because of the bourbon that he's been drinking or
Well, I hope
The
because Friday was National Bourbon Day. I hope he's still partaking.
that was probably is that your favorite holiday now? Is
Well,
it more than bigger
I
than
had
Father's Day?
I had to take off work.
See, I don't know if that's
Put it that
AAA baseball or AAA like the auto program.
I don't know. MVP of AAA, Klein. I think he's making fun of me because I've talked about my father. The Yankees wanted to draft him a long time ago and all that crap.
Long
Who knows? But Pat, we're glad you're back, and we're also glad you continue to be off track.
Yes, Pat off track.
Okay, moving on to what we are watching. What we are watching, there's millions of things to watch and stream on the internet, and we spend a lot of time wasting time doing that because that's what old guys like us like to do.
Hey, we got time.
Yeah,
Not
I did
a
a
lot
bunch
of
of it
hockey.
yesterday.
Not a lot of hockey going on now.
Now
Not a lot of baseball. Well, there is.
there's a lot of baseball, but you know,
Oh, but can I
Not a lot of basketball.
can I do
No,
a double?
yeah, sure.
I want to give a negative review to one that you both gave a positive review to.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
okay. So we'll add
Okay.
yours in there.
Okay.
But I am gonna invite the ire of the Grand Schwabini here by saying that I have begun. Now I do have a new show that I watched. I have begun rewatching The Walking Dead. I started from season 1
It's worth it.
because I stopped watching in season 6, and I also was watching Fear the Walking Dead, and I think I stopped in like season 4 there. So I have committed myself to watching the entire series, all offshoots, all the way through to the end. So
That's cool, but
I'm only in season 3 right now.
that's cool, but I also think it's kind of weird. I don't understand the double watching.
I love double watching.
No, I think it's worth it on some things that are epic.
I just feel like you're missing new stuff.
I'm not.
I feel like
I'm
I-
also watching new stuff because I have time.
No.
I feel like I need to go back and watch Game of Thrones because House of Dragon is on.
It came on last night. I
Yeah.
didn't watch the first episode.
I watched the first one, but that's not my review.
Yeah.
But so like stuff when that happens.
Was it good? Just tell me. Was it good?
I'm not going to.
It can't be your review. You have to
yeah,
get
That's
through
right.
the season.
I'm not going.
And what I do is I wait a couple weeks because they drop it once a week. I want to be able to binge it because I want to binge Amelia Clark. That's what I want to do. Do we got a funny comment coming in here?
No, it's just
Chuck was Shane. Chuck was Shane. That's Pat on track. That's the best. Where is Chuck?
Total inside job there.
Yep.
Sorry, people out in Cyberland. You don't know.
I protected Lori. I protected Carl. All right. So what we're watching, what does that mean? Well, what we do is we pick a show or a movie or a documentary, whatever you want to watch. And the only criteria is that we have to finish said season of the show or the full documentary or movie. We don't have to finish. If it has 5 seasons, you don't have to finish all 5 seasons. You just have to complete the season you're watching. And then we do a little review. So this week we are going to start with HJ. HJ is, I've seen this.
I figured
I know.
This is a Klein.
I've seen,
documentary.
I saw,
no,
it's not.
Sci-fi.
I saw, is there, I'm going to ask you a quick question before I put it up.
Yep.
Is there a second season coming?
There is.
Oh, thank God.
It's out.
No way.
It's out.
Yes. I will be watching Outer Range.
I've watched that too.
Josh Brolin.
Actually, the second season is out now.
It is out. Yeah.
I'm so psyched.
Yes, I want to watch it too.
Outer Range on Prime. Great show. Go ahead.
So I watched the first season, and I have to tell you, this is a total mind cluster. You know what?
Yes.
Yeah.
You could say fuck now on the internet.
It is a mind fuck because there's this big hole.
Yeah, it is. Sure
and
is.
It's inexplicably.
Are you sure this isn't an internet site?
I'm sure. And it's in the middle of this guy's field, and there's a bunch of weird rocks, and there are people that come and go that seemingly know what this thing is about, but they're not talking about it. And Josh Brolin really has trouble explaining himself time and time again. And kind of at the end of the whole season, he finally explains himself, and you're like, wow, that guy's really effed up. And I have a feeling in season 2, you're going to find out why he's effed up.
I hope so.
Because you don't understand anything at the end of season 1, except
very little.
Except there is one plot twist where you're like, should have seen that one. I know.
Where there's
sense
the girl
now.
that has some kind of connection with the whole.
Right.
There's a girl that comes Autumn comes in out of nowhere, and she just suddenly feels like she belongs there.
Come on, Schwab.
Right.
And, like
Come
they
on,
call her,
Schwab.
they call her the hippie girl.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But really, she has a true connection with the whole.
The whole. Right.
Yeah. No.
And-
Season 1 was very good. I enjoyed it.
I actually really liked the neighbors the most.
Yeah.
Those boys were totally messed up.
Yeah.
And when that boy hooks up with Autumn,
Yeah.
you're just like cringing every time they kiss. You're like, really? They're going to do that again?
Yeah. Let's not ruin it for everybody. But
yeah,
I'm going to have to go back and watch season 1 because I forget a lot of it and I was worried. I think the pandemic got in the way and the writer's strike.
To be honest, I don't remember.
I think it was
too
the
well.
right. It was the writer's strike.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to go back and watch it.
It's kind. It wants to be a Western. It takes place in Wyoming,
Right.
And then like they're like,
and it's not.
There's like a battle between the families, and you can tell it goes deep.
Yeah.
But you never really like see anything.
It's over where the hole is.
Yeah. Well, as you find out, the guy wants the land that had the holes on.
Yeah. The guy wants the hole.
He definitely wants the whole hole.
He wants the entire.
He wants the hole in his property.
He wants the entire hole. Yes.
He wants to get in the
worth
hole.
it. Definitely. I think it's. I can't wait to see season 2. But
I wonder if the hole gets any bigger?
Maybe we should all watch season 2.
Well, season 2 is on now.
Yeah.
It just came on.
Maybe we should commit to season 2 for next week.
Yeah, we can't commit to anything right now.
Oh my God! Look at Pat off track here. I don't know if I believe this.
Josh Brolin was a client of my firm. Spoke to him a few times. Guy next to me kept looking at me like, if you mention Diane Lane, I'll kill you. I believe Pat.
What does Diane Lane have to do with anything?
I think they were
married.
They were doing a thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think they were a thing.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the Pat off track that we know and love. He just assumes that all of the nonsense he spits at us, somehow we understand it no matter what.
Why would a successful movie star who probably lives in LA want anything to do with Pat?
I don't know. I don't.
maybe he was hanging out in Florida.
No, he was a few years back he was running some kind of internet trading platform that had clients.
Okay.
And
I got you.
he should be a millionaire by now,
Yeah.
but instead he's living in a retirement community and banging old ladies on the golf course while drinking Mai Tai.
It's not a bad life. If
Isn't that what you're doing?
Can live
It's a good life.
I guess it's a good life, but the old lady part of it is
He's still hung up on
we're
people
old
he went to
men.
high school with.
Chris, we're old men.
We are old men.
So
That's true.
old ladies make sense.
That's true. I feel like another comment just came.
Spielberg too. Now you're being ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. Outer Range on Prime is what HJ
Amazon.
is watching. The Grand Schwabini. This is a couple seasons, right?
2 seasons.
Right. And it was the same thing. It was like on a couple years ago, and then another season just came out. Because I started watching it like a year and a half ago, and I stopped.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Show it.
Okay,
I gotta
well,
know. Come on.
The Tourist on Netflix. Whatever the hell I just said. Netflix.
Yeah, this was an interesting one. I would say, so I've seen the 2 seasons, and they're pretty short. They're like 6 each, I think.
Right.
So you can get through it fairly quickly. It was really weird because
I think that's why I quit watching it.
Well, here's the thing. So, I got this recommendation from my dad. My dad said it was great.
Okay.
All right.
So, I started watching it, and basically it's about a guy who gets into a car accident and he loses his memory. So
that's how far I got.
So he's got amnesia,
Yeah.
right? And the first season, it was kind of like it took a long time to get going.
Yeah.
Like it was like, like I could have like potentially dropped it at like the 3rd episode, because I'm like, it's just taking so long to like get somewhere with this, right? But then, I kind of finished out the first season. My wife loved the first season. I thought it was okay. I have to say, I thought the 2nd season was phenomenal.
Okay.
Wow, that
all right.
rarely
that makes
happens.
me. Yeah, that piques my
It
interest.
was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It all came together for you.
Yeah, it did. And it was really, really good. So I highly recommend it. It's basically this guy who's trying to figure out who he is. And by the end of season 1, you don't really know who he is. It's just a lot of people are trying to kill him. And then in season 2, he starts kind of learning more about who he is, but not a heck of a lot. And I think they do set it up pretty well for a season 3 if it's going to come back.
Okay. The Tourist on Netflix, the Grand Schwabini.
But I want to do my little sidetrack here.
Okay.
Before we do yours.
Do the sidetrack.
My little sidetrack here.
I have a feeling we've talked about
We
think so.
We finally gave in and gave baby Reindeer a shot.
Baby Reindeer. I told you not to watch it with Amy.
Well, listen, no. I think Amy was more interested than me.
Okay.
So we went through 2 episodes. I just have no desire to watch any more. And I'll tell you why.
But you can't give a review. You didn't finish it.
Well, but I'm going to tell you, I'm telling
You're breaking your own
breaking
rule.
your own damn rule.
I'm telling why people will stop and start and stop.
Whatever.
Stop and start.
Here,
Okay, all right.
I just want to say one thing. Okay.
It's all yours.
I watched the first 2 episodes and I'm like, this guy deserves everything that's coming to him.
I can't disagree with you.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
So I'm just like, I don't care. I don't have any sympathy for him. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
He's a total idiot, and
Of
she's
course.
nuts.
Yeah.
Which we knew,
Right.
No,
but he deserves it. It's like I was expecting a story where I'm going to be like, "Oh man, this girl's just crazy, and he's a normal dude, and what's going on?" No, he deserved everything.
Okay.
That happened to him.
So let me just lay this on you.
Yes.
And I want Hockey Jesus to
Okay.
pay real close
he's not
attention.
wrong, by the way.
Yeah, but he doesn't know.
I'm sure there's things that I don't know because I didn't watch the whole thing.
He doesn't know what's happened to this guy.
That's true.
Yeah. And which would make complete sense as to why he's so screwed up and he's an idiot.
This is true.
You got to watch the rest of it.
you're saying that if I watch the rest of it, I will gain some clarity.
Yes.
You will gain some clarity, but you still won't like the guy.
Still won't
No.
like.
No. He's not
You
a
absolutely will still not like
likable
the guy.
character.
Yeah.
No, but
Will I like the show any better?
Slightly.
how much of
Marginally.
how much of it has Amy watched versus how much have you watched?
We watched it together.
Okay,
The first
so
two
she's still
episodes.
kind of into watching it.
Well, her kind of thing now is like, are we giving up on Baby Reindeer?
No, you're not.
Kind of seems
No.
like you're not into it. I'm like,
telling
yeah,
you.
I'm not into it.
Here's
I
the
feel
thing,
this
I'm-
guy deserves everything he
Here's
gets.
the thing I'm going to tell you
Watch
about
it for the sadomasochist.
baby reindeer. Schwarber, two home runs tonight, 2 Schwarber bombs
Nobody
tonight, by the way.
cares about the Phillies.
Well, that's pat off track, forgetting that this
Don't
is a
let him
Pittsburgh
take you
show.
there.
Yeah.
Wrong show,
Here's what
Hat.
I'm going to say about Baby Reindeer. It is one of the most fucked up shows I've ever watched.
It is disturbing.
It
It doesn't
is-
get less
Do
disturbing.
you also
Yeah.
know that the lady is suing Netflix
yes.
for like
Yes.
$170 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's not saying that what happened was not true.
Right.
She's basically saying that it's making her life hell.
It's portrayed her terribly.
Yes.
And it's making life horrible.
Yeah, which to me is kind of like,
I think-
look, you've done this before.
I don't know. I think that's a win. I think that's a win.
I don't know.
She probably had to sign off on something. And
Oh, I'm sure she did.
And, whatever she signed off on, she's going to get some millions out of it.
Oh,
Sure, of
yeah,
course.
She
Why not?
probably already has been.
Right.
Look,
Tens
she
or
was
hundreds of
crazy,
thousands.
but she wasn't stupid. There were things she did that
Right.
were stupid, but I'm just telling you the backstory of this, which comes out sometimes excruciatingly slow,
Mhm.
but once it starts to move, you start to realize like this guy was primed for this, and a crazy bitch like that woman was primed to find this guy, and it's a true story.
Right.
And you guys, you stick it out.
But see, that's the thing. I think this whole thing is portrayed that it's about this woman, and I feel like this guy is equally a disaster.
There you go.
I agree.
That's why you need
Yeah.
to. That's why you need to finish it
Yeah.
out, Schwaber.
All right, maybe I will,
I'm just
maybe I
telling you.
won't.
Well,
we'll
look,
see.
you broke your own rule, so now you're going to have to live up to it. Okay.
Well,
He's
no,
not-
it
he's
was
not wrong
just such a heightened sense of dissatisfaction.
Serious.
But you got to watch the whole thing,
you
and
guys-
then if you're still
All right.
dissatisfied, you can
Okay.
bring it back on.
So you want me to waste another 4 hours of my life?
I think it'll be
as
more
if
than that.
as if that would be difficult for you. I mean, come on.
All right.
Okay, guy has
I mean,
no kids. He's
he-
wasted most of his life.
and he's got a generator. I mean,
Okay.
it's not like the
Yeah.
power's going to
Yeah.
go.
When power goes out, you're good.
We can watch it whenever.
Yeah.
So what do you got for us? What do you got for us? A documentary of sorts? or-
No. You're
Amy says we can try another episode.
yeah.
There you go,
Amy, listen to
That's
them
the
all.
spirit.
Watch them all.
We'll
Amy.
try one more.
I'll
Amy.
watch them all. Okay, what we're watching, TD, technical director, that would be me, is watching something on, actually, I finished watching the first season, believe it or not, earlier today.
Oh,
I'm not surprised.
Dark Matter on Apple TV. This is a Klein show all the way. Dark Matter on Apple TV.
I may have seen a season or two of this.
It's only one season.
Oh, it's only one
It
season.
just came on.
Then I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this Joel Edgerton, who's the guy that's looking a little sad there, basically,
Terrified.
yeah. Basically, this is a show that it's about the multiverse. So
Oh, yeah.
we've all heard that.
Mhm.
We've all heard that. Like
Multiverse.
we all have
Yeah.
parallel lives, different things.
Yeah.
So what? Basically, the premise is this.
Outer Range isn't far from that, bud.
Probably not. Yeah. So the premise is that his character is a pretty intelligent scientist who's trying to come up with a way to explore the multiverse. And what happens is the multiverse kind of comes to him through its own doorway. I don't want to give anything away here because it's actually really good. Through its own doorway, and then he has to try to find a way back to his doorway. And it's based in reality, so it's not not high science fiction. You know what I mean? There's like no spaceships, there's no aliens. It's just they've discovered how to access the multiverse.
It's in reality. The multiverse is in reality. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to get that clear.
I believe in the multiverse.
I know you do.
Yes.
You're allowed to.
Full blown. I am a full-blown believer.
Of course you are. You still believe that there's aliens here, and you're one of them.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you're a denier. So what that tells me is you're one of them.
When you find the door, let me know. I'm gonna shut it,
dude. I'm telling you, when I find the door, I am walking in and taking over the whole damn world.
Well, you'll just be in another world.
That's right.
You'll be in another time,
and you'll still be here. Actually, so sucks for you. There'll be two of us you have to deal with.
Yeah. I'm wondering what you guys would look like in the other world.
When you get there, let us know.
Yeah.
I'll
send you a postcard.
What? Maybe next week we'll be in the parallel universe.
What am I, a reptile?
Being here doing the same things.
No, Schwab, you're probably, you know what you are?
What?
In the multiverse?
What's that?
You are a devout evangelical preacher.
Oh, yeah.
Raising money.
You dance like those crazy
You know
people.
what? He would be in the multiverse, and I would go through a door, and he would be a Reformed Jew raising money, a.k.a. Steve Martin in Leap of Faith. Yakety yak, God's talking back.
I don't know what you're doing. You're very strange. What a strange guy.
I am a strange guy.
I think we through the multiverse.
Yeah, we did. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of the Sports Porch Black and Gold Edition on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. Absolutely. Thanks for watching live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. We are going to drop the podcast right after the show, so please subscribe, leave a review, follow us on YouTube at the Sports Porch Podcast. And as always, I am your technical director. We will see you next week. I am out. Jablonsk.